Coming up, it's Twig with Mathew, Ingram, Aunt Pruitt, and Jeff Jarvis, and me. Yeah, I'm back. We're going to talk about the Pixel 4. Finally get to talk about the Pixel 4 and what we love or hate. Speaking of love-hate, that pendulum keeps swimming back and forth for tech. TikTok says China doesn't tell me what to do. And we'll find out what Maclunkey means. Or will we? It's all coming up next on Twig.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 535, recorded Wednesday, November 20th, 2019. Nihilistic Epistemology for Kids. This Week in Google is brought to you by Privacy.com. Stop using the same card number everywhere. Use Privacy's virtual cards to protect your financial information and get a free $5 credit you can use on any online purchase just for signing up today. Learn more and sign up in under a minute at Privacy.com/twig. And by Brave. Brave is the browser reimagined. Switch now to get unmatched speed and privacy and stop trackers from following you. Save battery life and earn rewards by opting into privacy-respecting ads. Brave is free and easy to switch to. Go to brave.com/twit and switch to Brave today. And by Metallic, a Commvault venture. Metallic provides enterprise-grade backup and recovery technology through simple SaaS delivery. To sign up for your free 45-day trial, go to metallic.io/twig, and for a limited time through December 31st, 2019, with a 1-year commitment, your first 3 months are free. It's time for Twig This Week in Google, the show that's about everything but Google, sometimes. Today it'll be about Google. Of course, Jeff Jarvis is here, but you are in a hotel room somewhere.
In a hotel room somewhere in Florida with my new Yeti mic.
It's a mini Yeti.
It's a Nano. Yeti Nano.
Sounds great, actually.
Blue Yeti Nano. Yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice.
We've had problems with headsets, and it's not unusual. When you throw them in a suitcase, they tend to get damaged, and the mics sound bad. So I think this will do better. I hope it will. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's much better. And General B had me. They came with a holder which weighed twice as much as the mic.
Get rid of it. Yeah.
So I have a little tiny tripod.
Just using a clothes hanger.
Mic goes in. My headset goes into the mic itself.
I know. Isn't that nice?
Nice little monitor.
Yeah, it's nice.
Hey, that's Aunt Pruitt sitting right next to me.
Yes.
Star of Stage Screen and Hands on Photography and Focus on Photography are two great photography shows that are doing really, really well. Thank you, Aunt.
Thank
really
you.
Love them.
It's good to have you back, even though I did slam my knee on the table since you're shorter.
I'm trying to crush his massive thighs to no avail. Even the motor in this thing. Head down. It's good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you.
And thanks for filling in while I was gone. Also here, Mathew Ingram. Stacy's out today, but Mathew is here, Chief Digital Writer at the Columbia Journalism Review, CJR.org. And Mathew is in snowbound Ottawa.
I don't think we've been in this room before, have we, Mathew?
This is new. So we moved.
Oh.
You
So
moved?
This is our new, yeah.
Oh, did you leave the Nazi books behind?
I did, yeah. That was the cottage, actually. That was the cottage.
He had something like
I
this.
see no Nazi book.
No, he had the Third Reich or something behind him over his shoulder. I said, maybe you ought to move that just in case. I mean, it's important, but maybe you ought to move that just. So I got the Pixel 4 while I was gone, unfortunately. I didn't get to bring it on the trip, which I'd have liked. Aunt and I both are orange. We're the orange twins. I am kind of amazed at the negativity. Ron Amadio, who I love, writing for Ars Technica, slammed it back and forth, left and right. Basically, the conclusion, even Florence Ion said, it's not worth it. Don't upgrade. People are, I think, miffed because Google didn't do enough in this new one to make it different enough from the Pixel 3.
I don't think they did. It's a nice phone, but it still doesn't justify the price.
I'm going to show you two reasons. First of all, let me just do this again. Don't you think the face recognition is... Ron said it's slow. It's not slow. It's not slow. It's fantastic.
Mine works pretty good.
I have
Well, that took forever.
No, it was the lights or something.
Well,
Normally,
put your finger on the back and it's boom, it's done.
No.
So much better.
No.
Mine is almost instant.
It's
time.
almost instant. In fact, I took it out of my front pocket a second ago, and it was already unlocked. The minute it caught sight of me. So I like that.
Do it again.
Well, this is not a good. It's got a light shining right in it, and my face is at an angle to it. So I don't know if this is a good.
Mine is working, and it's not even in front of me. It's just
See, it's not. I have to do. But see, if I do that. So let me do it again with me.
Well, that's all. Just have to go.
No, you have to face it.
All around.
Look how fast that was.
It's pretty quick.
I'm facing it. You don't want it to unlock if you're not facing it. Then it would just unlock willy-nilly.
Every now and then it struggles with my sunglasses, but for the most part, it's really quick.
I mean, this is the same thing, and I have to say, part of the reason it doesn't bother me is the same thing we went through with iPhones a couple of years back, where they took the fingerprint out, and you just get used to it. But this, to me, is the killer. I mean, absolute killer feature of this. First of all, and Google showed this at I.O., but the idea that I can make a recording, and while I'm making the recording, it will live transcribe it, and quite well, even down to punctuation. I don't even have to say, exclamation mark, period, comma, new paragraph. Although it apparently did what I said. Well, that's one of the things that's interesting about this. It will go back and amend. It does editing after the fact, as it seems.
Handy, actually.
It seems to understand context. Yeah, you use this as you're going out to do reporting. You got
that is a killer app.
Pretty high quality.
Pretty
and
how dependent upon that hardware is it?
I think it is because it's the new Google Assistant on device. So one of the reasons it's so fast is it's doing this super accurate transcription. And I have to say, super accurate transcription. Nobody comes close. And it's doing it on device. So that's one thing I really like. I'm going to save that out. And then this, to me, and I had to put it in the control panel, the widgets up here, because it was on by default. It's called live caption. Now, the idea is if you're ever watching video or listening to audio, it will automatically transcribe it. I'm going to play a little bit of my Tech Guy show. So I'm listening to a podcast, and it's live captioning it as I'm listening.
It's pretty daggum fast.
Well, I could have used that cheating trying to watch the impeachment hearings when I was.
Let's watch the impeachment hearings. Great idea. Let's watch. So we'll go to MSNBC.
No, you got Ari Melber, but that's okay. Oh, and Nicole Wallace.
And so now the delay here is it's opening the stream to MSNBC. It's buffering. So same thing, and you can move this, by the way.
Oh, wow.
That is
now
that's pretty. That's
impressive.
Yeah. Now, how much would you pay? So, and it does that. It works with YouTube too. So if you're watching a YouTube video, it's going to transcribe that as you're watching it. So I have to, and it's very accurate.
Mathew, as a reporter, would you have killed for this in your cub reporting days?
Oh yeah. I mean, this is worth the price of admission.
Plus, I could turn the sound down, and I could continue to watch the hearings while we do the show.
Yep. No one will ever know.
YouTube's transcripts.
It's 1,000 times better than that. It's better too. Sometimes on TV they'll have closed captions, but they're often done by computers, and they're awful.
Right, and they're usually off.
This is actually kind of stunning.
Can you save the file?
Of this, I don't know. That's a good question. You can, of course, when you record.
I didn't see much of any options with it. It was more of a turn it on or turn it off.
But I do recommend adding that live caption button to your controls there at the top.
I would want to save the file sometimes.
I think it actually shows up under your volume menu as well. Yeah, it shows up under your volume.
If I do volume, I can also do it there. So you don't need to add it to the controls. That's nice.
Interesting.
It was on by default. At first, I couldn't figure out what is
going on.
I'm watching a video and I'm getting captioning. And you can move it anywhere on the screen. So Google mentioned this at I.O. I feel like, all of the negative reviews I've read are, well, it's just kind of more of the same. I think it's pretty good. That's a nice feature.
It's just resident on there and everything else that can come with that.
That's right.
Be amazing.
That's right. The camera, what do you think, Ant? You're the photography guy.
The camera is really good.
Is it better than the 3? That's the question.
I think it's just a touch better. It's not much better. I have a friend that's using the 3, and we put some side-by-side comparisons up. And his name is Obi. I'm not going to say his last name. His name is Obi. And
We all know it's
Tell
Juan
me his last name
Kenobi.
is
You
Juan.
don't have to hide it. It's okay. You know some famous people.
And when we put them side by side, you can see a little more detail in the 4 versus the 3. Not to say that the 3 is bad, but there's still just a little more detail.
What about the zoom? Because remember that was one of the things in the announcement.
Stop at 5x.
Yeah,
Don't
the
go any
optical
further.
zoom. It's still smooth, soft.
Don't go any further than 5x.
Okay.
2x is really good though. Really good.
So one of the things Ron complained about, and a lot of complained about, and I don't blame them, is that every other phone now has 3 lenses, including a super wide. This didn't do that.
Yeah, I guess that's a preference though. I don't particularly care for
Those super wides don't look great.
right because a lot of times you're going to get soft edges in your images, and
Distortion.
I just don't care for that.
Yeah.
Give me a telephoto any day.
Yeah. So, I mean, and this, the 90 hertz, everybody said, oh, come on, Google, because you have to turn the brightness up to a certain point. But, and I mean, I think everybody knows this, but I'll show you anyway. If you turn on developer options, which, you do by tapping the build number 7 times, once developer options are on, you can say, I want 90 hertz all the time. And I don't know, do you notice a difference with 90 hertz?
I did not. I've turned it off actually.
It's going to kill battery a little bit faster, but people say it's buttery smooth animation. It's buttery.
I didn't see a difference.
Yeah.
I'm running the 60 and it looks and feels just fine. And my battery is lasting pretty much most of the day.
Yeah.
So you're not against it, Ant. You're just saying.
I think it's overkill. It's not really doing anything for the user experience, for me anyway.
It's really for people who look at numbers and say, I want the phone that has the bigger number. But
What phone did you have before, Ant? I forget.
The Pixel 2.
Oh, you jumped. You skipped.
I jumped.
Well, you're going to be even happy. I mean, anybody who had a Pixel 2 probably should get a 4, right?
That would be the only way I would upgrade. I wouldn't necessarily go from 3 to the 4.
Yeah, it's not a
So
huge
happy with my
difference.
3A.
Right.
Yeah. But that transcription, I mean, if
That's pretty damn cool.
That's supposed to
Now,
be
you know
coming
what I
to
want
the
that on.
3A.
Will it?
One of these days.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
One
the
of
thing.
these
They're
days.
going to have an APK out there for it. And
well,
Yeah, they
so
said
that-
by the end of the year that the captions and the transcription will come to the.
we'll see.
We'll come to the 3.
It's the new assistant, and so the issue is how much. It's all on phone. So the question is, how much hardware do you need to do that, and is there specialized hardware to do that, and so forth.
Right.
But so as we've seen with some of the camera features, you can put it on the 3A, but it's not going to be quite as good as on a phone with the additional hardware, that kind of thing.
now, speaking of the camera, we talked about the night sight astrophotography feature that's built in.
Have you played with it?
It's AI, and a lot of people tend to forget that it's AI. I've played around with it, and I've also installed a manual camera app to where I could actually set up like a 10-second exposure, and I compared the two. And the AI does a pretty good job, but there's nothing like setting up your ISO. And
But this is a phone.
it's yes.
Although
it's a
you make an
phone.
interesting point. If you're going to do astrophotography,
Do it right.
Are you going to want to do it with a phone? I don't know.
Well, no, I'll have to show you. I guess I could put it into.
I believe it. No, that's all right. We
the
get the
dock.
idea. In fact, there's a lot of examples. In fact, even in the TWiT community, a number of people posted there. Just quick and dirty. I took a picture of the sky.
Right.
It's pretty. I mean, it's kind of neat that you can do that. I
You
think
have
it's,
that capability.
It's a proof of concept more than anything.
And I could spend a little more time with it. Hopefully, I'll be able to spend a little more time over the holidays while we're not in the studio.
I want a hands-on photo all about using the Pixel 4. That's what I want.
Okay. Asking you shall receive.
All right.
Orders from the boss.
Well, not really.
When the president says he'd like something, does that mean it's an order?
order.
Whoa, though.
It's a suggestion.
Again, voluntold, folks.
Suggestion.
So, Leo, did you order a Pixelbook Go?
Absolutely not. Did you?
Why not?
Not yet.
Pricing.
Why?
Pricing again.
It's overpriced, underpowered, and
Pretty.
you like the grippy bottom.
It's not really grippy. It's just wavy.
I think you like saying that.
I like a grippy bottom. I cannot lie. Those other brothers can deny. When a Pixelbook comes in, the itty bitty, I don't know what. Anyway, I think we're gonna have to stop right there.
Yeah, please do.
I'm starting to sound like Ari Melber.
Please do.
All right. So, in other words, why do you think the negativity from everybody, all and sundry, on the Pixel 4?
I don't know. I think a lot of people were really down on the battery life for a good reason, but I think there was because they were testing the Pixel 4 and not the XL.
I think they were prejudging
because
they saw the size of the battery, which is smaller than the Pixel 3 XL, and they said, "Oh, that can't work."
Right.
But I got to point out, the iPhone 11 has a smaller battery. It's not a big battery.
Oh, it's not.
It's not a huge battery, but there's a lot you can do with software and chip tuning. And
I feel like there's some phone fatigue out there.
That's
like I feel
really
like people,
Well, there is that.
they want every new one to be orders of magnitude better. It's not enough that it's just better or a little better. It has to be like change the world better.
Yeah.
But is that
Plus, I think
fair?
the way you show off these days is to criticize tech companies.
Yeah.
There was a thread on the TWiT community, and I've seen it in Reddit and other places saying, I don't want to read tech reviews anymore because I'm all excited about my new XYZ, and they're just dumping on it.
Yeah.
Because they went from one extreme to the other, from utopia to dystopia, from fanboy to smash it. And that's the way people show off now, and it's turned into kind of almost a tech nihilism.
Is it that those negative reviews get more clicks, more views?
You bet.
You know.
But I also think it's in our psyche because we have these same conversations about big tech, and of course Jeff defends big tech, and others, sometimes me, say, can you get me my Grumpy Cat cover? The Sunday Times. Did you see that this week? The New York Times Sunday magazine.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing
the whole magazine was devoted to how crappy the internet is. That's Kevin Roos's article. Online cesspool got you down.
This just bugs the F out of me.
I feel bad for those cats.
Yeah,
well,
They're clearly unhappy.
I don't think they're actually covered with whatever that brown stuff
They are
is.
definitely
we need to
covered
find
with
out.
pudding.
They're
But no
covering
cat is happy
chocolate
about
pudding.
that, though.
No, cats.
Yeah.
So this is the cover of the magazine, which has Grumpy Cat looking for who's passed away. So it's a simulated
Tartar sauce.
simulated Grumpy Cat. So the internet did. This is the tagline. The internet didn't turn out the way we hoped. So this.
Wait a minute. What's that?
But then I'm
Printing
starting
didn't
to.
turn out the way we hoped. We thought it was going to convert everybody to a good form of Catholicism, and instead we got a darned Reformation and a 30 Years War.
Somehow he got Gutenberg in there without even mentioning Gutenberg.
Of course.
It's very impressive. Very, very impressive. No, but I think that's it.
I don't think it's unfair, though. I've talked about that with people about how when I first discovered the internet and blogs and Twitter, it all seemed so fantastic, and it was all going to be this wonderful sort of democratizing force, which it has been. But we've seen all the downsides of it in the last little while. So
it's the downsides of mankind, though, isn't it, Matthew?
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I'm
not saying.
That's what comes to mind.
Anything.
Is whose fault is that? Is that the fault is in our stars, or is it on the internet?
Well, it's a bit of both to me.
Yeah.
So you can't, obviously people, Facebook did not invent people trolling or believing things that are wrong or conspiracy theories. But Facebook does use the algorithm to make those things travel faster and farther, and more people see them.
And that's the good. That's the good and bad about it. We have this. Everybody has a voice now. Regardless of who you are, regardless of your stature, everybody has a voice.
And see, we all thought that would be a great thing,
right? But
it is.
But at the same time, the trolling crap that I see on a daily basis.
Everybody has a voice, even jerks,
right? And I'm like, man, I wish I could just shut this person
and
up.
Some are not.
Right.
That's where
the thing we can't forget
Facebook and Twitter
is. Sorry, Matthew. I didn't hear you there.
No, I was just saying that some of those voices get amplified, and those are choices that Facebook and Twitter make.
Yeah, but I think that software is still dumb, right? So retargeting advertising, right? You looked at those boots once on Amazon, you bought the boots, and they're still following you around 6 weeks later. That's just dumb software. It doesn't mean that it's dastardly software. It's dumb software.
Right. And I think you can blame us a little bit in our expectations. We were naive. We thought, oh, everybody gets a voice. And we didn't think of everybody gets a voice. So so as you said, instead of getting the great Catholic, explosion, we got the Reformation. But
I also just bought a book yesterday called Black Software, which looks really good. It's by I think a provost at New York University. And I just got through the first 5-10 pages, so I don't really know it yet. But what he's arguing is that as far as I can tell, the talk about Black Lives Matter and such, he said, no, this goes back 30, 40 years where African Americans were left out of this technology, and there was a core of kind of renegade people who used it.
Oh,
I think we can't overlook, yes, so far right-wing bozos and Russians misuse this stuff. Yes, but there's other people who were always left out who now have an opportunity and have tools to gather and act. And I think that gets left out all the time, especially by mainstream media like the New York Times.
And it's definitely like the pendulum has definitely swung. At first it was way over on this is the best thing ever, and it's gonna usher in like democracy around the world and make people's lives better. And now it's everyone is focusing on the negative for a pile of reasons.
Not me.
Trump being one of them. But obviously the
Trump has nothing. That man can't even type. He has nothing.
No, but
he can type perfectly well.
Like
look at his Twitter feed.
He's like a symbol of everything that's gone wrong.
But there's
he and his supporters.
But there's lots of symbols. There's Russia. There's lots of symbols of everything that's gone wrong. I think it was foolish of us to think that it would all be some utopian wonderland.
Yeah. Right.
But and this is I guess what I want to say for myself anyway. I do think I've been a little bit. The pendulum did swing for me, and I went from being a utopian to a dystopian and all glum about it. And I think I want to kind of get back into the middle where, thank you, Jeff.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Leo.
There are clear benefits and there are clear detriments, and that's life.
Exactly.
I think a good way of swinging back to the good side of it is one of the things that you've already implemented, and that's the community, is finding.
That has given me hope. That's really interesting that you
finding
said that.
Your tribe, if you will. If you're going to use social media, have your followers or what have you, but trim down that stack of followers that you have, and you'll see the difference just in your mood automatically.
Yeah, redesign it too, right?
Yeah,
I mean, so Jimmy Wales has started a new social network.
Yeah, I went and signed up.
I can't figure it out. I love it.
I can't figure it out.
There's nothing there. That's why you can't figure it out. It's like multiple chat rooms about completely,
mostly about cryptocurrency, as far as I can tell.
Oh boy.
Here's the funny thing. Here's the funny headline in the BBC. Thousands flock to Wikipedia's Facebook forever. Okay, if that's success, you got a problem.
Thousands.
But I mean,
thousands.
I said like calling it a Facebook rival is like my neighbor has a garage sale, and I say my neighbor is now an Amazon rival.
Right.
Yeah,
technically that's true, right? But there's no way in a million years. Like, I want to see where it goes, and I think it's interesting. But to cast it as a Facebook rival is ridiculous.
Did Wales call it a Facebook rival, or did the headline writers?
No.
So we can't blame Jimmy Wales for
actually an extension of Wiki Tribune of his effort at news, where he wants to try to empower people to do news. But I love Jimmy, and I just haven't been able to get dug into it yet because I only have 2 friends.
I'm not going to bother myself.
There's not much there. So will it become something? Maybe. But at the moment, there's a lot of...
What were the other efforts to unseat?
Diaspora. Remember that?
Yeah. Mastodon.
Hello.
Mastodon,
Hello. Mm-hmm. Mastodon's more against Twitter.
I mean, Mastodon's still around. People use it.
I use it.
People still use it?
Diaspora still around?
Yeah.
I think so.
So this is how it works. If you give them money, $100 a year or $12.99 a month, you can jump the list. I'm currently 73,940 on the waiting list to get in.
Oh, really?
But when I first signed up, and when you first sign up, you will get in and get to pick a bunch of topics. And I'm not kidding, 90% of them were cryptocurrency related.
Yeah.
Which kind of turned me off. That's actually when I said I'm not going to give you $100 just to jump the line and get in here. So that might be part of the problem. I don't know. Oh, gosh. We've seen this over and over again.
Yeah, we've seen this before.
One of the reasons that
Did John McAfee have anything to do with that?
One of the reasons I agree with you, Ant, that local communities might be the solution. And one of the things about Mastodon that makes it interesting is it's federated local communities, smaller communities. Is that a local community then has this natural affinity, and I think also avoids, because people almost feel like they know each other, avoids some of the worst excesses of Twitter and Facebook.
Right.
So our TWiT community, I think, is in a way a template for the future of social online, which is smaller, because it's really been, the conversation's been fascinating. Smaller, localer, or maybe more aligned around certain interests things. But then is there still a role for a big global thing like Facebook and Twitter?
It's
so
it
even
can
Facebook's
scale.
going towards.
If you still want to keep in touch with auntie so-and-so or cousin so-and-so, then that's where Facebook is going to.
But that network effect
But
also brings
even
in
a
the
lot of
worst.
Facebook is going towards like private groups.
Right.
A lot more people are using private groups.
That's good.
I mean, even Zuckerberg said the future is encrypted, ephemeral. WhatsApp groups. Lots of people are moving into those. People are using like Nextdoor and stuff like that as sort of community.
Right.
So I think that sort of broad mass social network is already going away.
We're seeing another transformation, and that's what you're going to see is continuous transformation. I'll tell you the thing that both bugs me and amazes me is and you knew this already because you're in Canada, Matt and Mathew, and because Jeff, you travel all the time, is the predominance of WhatsApp everywhere in the world. It is the default
everywhere
for communication, for community, for group. Everywhere I went. And now listening to the impeachment testimony, apparently it's also how government gets done. I found that kind of both disturbing and amazing that all of this back channel stuff with Sondland and others was going on unprotected cell phones and WhatsApp. So, and those of us who are in the tech community know how insecure it is and how problematic it is. It's owned by Facebook. But the rest of the world, everybody, it's just...
But it's going to get worse. I put this in
also
rundown.
line.
I was at the final meeting in my transatlantic high-level working group on content moderation and freedom of expression in Milan last week in Bellagio.
Oh, how nice.
And one of the people there, one of the really bright people, former Obama White House, kept bringing up TikTok and kept saying, we have all these nice little rules we're trying to make for Twitter and Facebook, and it's meaningless when you get a company like TikTok there that's going to have wholesale erasure of content about, even though apparently they're letting it in Hong Kong stay in the U.S., at least for a while. But what do you do with companies from other countries where you're not going to have the control that we think we're going to have over them in our regulated world?
TikTok is owned, of course, by a Chinese company. The CEO of TikTok this week said, oh, no, they don't tell us. They don't tell us what... The fact that there is no Hong Kong content.
They say that they don't tell me anything.
And he said with a straight face that if the Chinese government asked him for information, he would say no.
Oh, no.
I would love to see that happen.
Yeah.
He's not Chinese, though.
No.
So I guess he went
matter.
along with the purchase. But, yeah, it's owned by a Chinese company. A Chinese company is always going to do, like an American company, is always going to do what the Chinese government
whatever the
wants.
government says.
You have to.
Call your bluff.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Is there
So
a
have you guys used TikTok?
Yeah.
Negative.
Yeah.
Much?
I use it all the time.
It's just Vine.
It's Vine, basically.
Have you ever used Vine? You've used TikTok.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. Okay.
I have no
love
desire.
Vine.
No desire.
It's really
I'm
fun.
surprised because you're a
Stick in the
creator.
budget.
I think
So I
you
don't
could
use
do
it.
little...
But see, you
I
have
look at-
that and you have Snapchat. And when I look at the audiences for both of those platforms, I just don't see that my audience is on any of those platforms.
But Jeff, and you've talked about this before, Vine has created stars.
It has.
Yeah.
And it was...
TikTok too.
Yeah, well, that was the weird thing is that Twitter bought it and killed it, which is insane because you have this...
Classic.
God, that's so stupid. So along comes, they killed it. Along comes TikTok, and it was originally Musically, and they just said, well, we'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened. You've got stars. You've got Huge followers.
There's people that are doing some good stuff on there. It's just not for me. I like I said, I don't think my audience is over there. But
is there a security issue for TikTok on your phone?
Only that the Chinese government sees
That's
everything.
what I'm asking.
I was going to say it depends on how deep you want to dig.
What does it mean, security? What does that mean?
I have a Huawei phone, so it's pretty much the same.
You do really? You use a Huawei?
Yeah, the P20.
Actually, that's what's really sad.
Right.
Well, that's what's really sad about all this camera conversation. It turns out probably the Huawei's, especially the new P30, are the best cameras of anybody.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah.
Including the zoom on the Huawei is phenomenal.
what about the
And all your
108
data is
megapixel?
automatically backed up in Shenzhen.
What about the 108 megapixel Xiaomi phone?
There you go.
No, don't.
108?
No, it's not about megapixels.
No, don't do
anymore.
that. I know that.
Yeah, the megapixel.
But that's what would sells because of that big number, similar to the whole specs with the Pixel 4 versus the other
refresh rate.
There.
Just like stereo watts per side back in the old.
Remember that? Matthew and I remember that.
1,500 watts per side.
I don't care what I'm playing on it, but listen how loud I can turn it. And we did this the other day with the new MacBook Pro. We always played the 1812 Overture, the Canon stuff, just to see, how did the Canons sound? But that that's funny. The 60s changed that. That's when the Rolling Stones started writing about the content you were playing instead of the RMS, the number of watts per channel, the distortion, and all that stuff. And we went from that speeds and feeds to the content. And that happened on the internet, a decade ago or so. All right, let me take a break. We could talk more.
I just turned on TikTok, and there was a woman who was doing nothing but throwing slices of processed cheese to have them stick to things.
Oh, that's funny.
In the car.
Brilliant.
Oh, man, I want to watch that over and over.
Comedy.
Yep, that's where my audience is.
That's a whole show.
We sound like old farts. There's at least on Vine this happened. There were comedians who became famous on Vine.
Batch.
I think there's some of that similar
TikTok
stuff.
looks easier to make than Snapchat stuff.
I can't.
Do you know what I
mean? I
I
don't know.
Until Milton Berle starts using it, I don't think it's a remedy.
When Uncle Milty's on TikTok, that's when you got me. Okay, now you really sound old. I made an account and I posted a video and I just see it and I don't know. Here's the Real Housewives of TikTok.
Yep, my audience.
Yeah, it's the mime machine.
Imagine Trump on TikTok.
Oh,
why isn't he on TikTok?
Yeah,
he
will be.
His people got to get him on there.
He will be.
Yeah. What's that? Brad Parscale's got it. Brad. See, that's the problem with having a social media maven. Their best by date is very quick. A year from now, everything you know is wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
It's Twitter.
Yeah, Brad's like 40.
Yeah, Brad's an old man now. Oh, yeah, you know how to buy Facebook ads, but do you know about TikTok, Brad? Come on. Get with the program. Our show today, I actually think this is one of the few things that really is great on the internet, and I use it like crazy. It's privacy.com. We tell you all the time, don't use the same password everywhere, right? But you do use the same credit card everywhere. Well, that's nuts. With privacy.com, you get a brand new virtual Visa or MasterCard number for every purchase you make online with one click. I have it as a plug-in in my browser, which makes it very easy. But even better than that, you can lock it down. So as soon as it's used by a merchant, only that merchant can use it. Nobody can steal it and use it. You can set a limit, which I love. I know exactly how big my charges are. So I have one for Amazon, for everyone. In fact, when I do business with somebody new, that's right away I sign up for. I just did a subscription with a vitamin store, and I never had bought anything from them before. So, of course.
Right. And
here's the other reason you want to use privacy.com. You can pause it. So when I sign up for subscriptions, I always use privacy.com because, sometimes it's hard to cancel these subscriptions. The easiest way to cancel a subscription, you pause the card. Then you get that great email, hey, your card doesn't work anymore. Give us a new one. And you go, never mind. Goodbye. Privacy. It is awesome. And refunds work even if you pause or close the card, by the way. You can freeze and unfreeze cards on and off at will. You the Chrome Web Store has a browser extension, so you can do it in Chrome. You can also which means also you can do it in the new Edge. You can do it in Brave. There's an Android and iOS app. I love it. You can link your virtual cards. Now, I should mention this. You either link it to your checking account or your debit card. So it isn't a charge card.
Right.
It is immediately going to be debited from your account, either through your debit card or your checking account. I don't mind that. I don't, that's not why I'm using it. I'm using it because I really want security, and this is awesome. Spending limits per charge, per month, or per year. And your virtual cards are locked to a merchant, so you don't ever have to worry about your card gets hacked. No big deal. You freeze it or you destroy it, and you don't have to change it anywhere else. You'll get a decline email or push notification if somebody tries to use the card at another location. Then a hacker got my card.
Right.
They're PCI DSS compliant. That means they're real credit cards, same security standards as your bank. I shouldn't call it a credit card. It's more like a debit card, really. Sensitive information is secured using strong encryption. In fact, they go an extra step with split key encryption, and partial keys are held by separate employees, so it really is private. Now, I use it all the time, but I don't think I ever do more than 12 a month. And you get that for free. That's the personal plan, up to 12 cards a month. But they noticed there are people making hundreds of cards a month, so they created new plans, Pro and Teams. For $10 a month, you get the Pro plan. You get everything in the free plan, plus automatically 1% cash back on all purchases, up to 36 cards a month. If you're making more than one a day, I don't know. More security, more privacy features. That's $10 a month. And if you have a team, in fact, this would be a great thing to do in a business, $25 a month. You get all the Pro stuff, plus a dedicated account manager, 60 cards a month, transaction limits tailored to your business needs. So they're really expanding their offerings since we started talking about privacy. They've been a sponsor for some time. I've been using them for even longer, literally for years. Privacy believes customers should have full control of their data, so they give their customers access to transaction data via a webhook API. People who watch this show probably know what that means. It means it's easy to get that information. Of course, I just have the privacy app, and I get notifications. I get all the information about every single card. I always turn on two-factor authentication. They support that. So my cards are super safe, super secure. I use it for every subscription. I use it anytime I'm on a merchant site. I don't know. And I have one for every single site I use a lot, too, because why not? Protect your privacy, protect your money. Virtual cards. This company does it so well, and they have the best name, privacy.com. To learn more, get a $5 credit off your first purchase. Go to privacy.com/twig. In fact, do that anyway, because that way they'll know you saw it here, and that helps us. Privacy.com/twig. And now they've got the Pro and the team versions as well. So
Micah Sargent was laughing at me after I started here.
Yeah.
Because I was in the host office, making a purchase online. I pulled out my bunch of burner cards that I use.
You have burner cards
for online purchases, and he's like, "Dude, what are you doing?
Privacy. It's all
just
digital.
Use privacy."
Yeah. Do you use it now?
I do now.
Isn't it awesome?
Yeah, it's so much easier.
I love it, and I often have subscriptions. I just go, and I go through the list of privacy. I should show you. I go through the list and pause it.
Yeah, and then he told me about the subscription idea, especially for like Netflix, Hulu, or whatever.
Yeah.
And just set it up.
Pause it.
It's so much easier. I'm like, oh, thanks, man. But he laughed at me.
Hey, speaking of, I see the chat room says new story just came in. PayPal is buying Honey.
Oh boy.
Get ready for this. Honey, if you don't know, is a browser plugin. Lisa uses it like crazy. It's free. It when you go to a site, it'll say, get you those coupon codes, right? Automatically. So you save money. She saves a lot of money on it. But of course, what does Honey get? They know everything you do.
All your data.
Everything you do. PayPal has agreed to buy them for, this is how much your data is worth, Ant. $4 billion. It's the largest acquisition PayPal's ever made.
Wow.
$4 billion. 17 million monthly active users. And
Congrats
of course,
to Honey.
Every active user. And I asked Lisa about it. She says, I know, I don't care. Because it's a plugin, it knows every site you go to.
It's watching.
That's where the value is.
Congrats, Honey. That's a nice payday. Wow.
Honey, I'm home. Moving right along. Let's see here. Stadia. See, I told you there was Google in this show. I don't. None of you are gamers. Are you a gamer?
Not anymore, no, sir.
Matthew, I don't think you're a gamer.
I am.
Now you want to talk about people ragging on some technology?
Yeah, but deservedly. Okay, so Stadia is launched, but it's a slow launch. I checked, and I won't get mine till November 26th. So I canceled it.
Of course.
I don't want it. How about you, Karsten? Do you want it?
I'm waiting. It's not a thing yet.
I spent $130 to get this Magic first day controller and a Google Chrome Ultra, which I already had anyway.
You know what they should have done? They should have Gmailed it. They should have had it be an invite-only service.
Yeah.
Where?
Oh, you're right. Make it like
sexy.
Yeah.
Make it, because they're obviously slow launching it so they can build their servers up.
Infrastructure.
Yeah. Because this kind of thing takes a ton of infrastructure.
So you $130 one-time just listen at home and see if this is something you would do. $130 one-time purchase. You get a 3-month trial for that. After that, $10 a month. Do you get the games for free? No, you get one game for free. But the premium games you pay for just like you would in the store, $60.
Nope.
Now, the difference is you don't really own the game. It's on their servers. You never get a copy of it. It's on their servers.
Right.
And you lose out on a lot of game features like achievements. There's no achievements. So I don't think a serious gamer is going to do this.
Well, in their defense, if you're an Xbox person or whatever, you can buy the game digitally.
Can you put it on your Xbox?
You can buy it digitally and it's stored up there. You don't get the physical disc.
But can I put it on my Xbox, or can I only play it on Stadia?
No, you can play it locally.
I have maybe 20 PlayStation 4 physical discs.
Yeah, that you already bought.
And but I own hundreds of PlayStation 4 games.
No, I don't care about the disc.
No, I'm
just saying, can I play it other than on Stadia? I mean, I bought a game, but I thought it was locked to Stadia. I don't know.
Yeah, that's how it's worded, but I'm just not a really...
Plus, you better have a gigabit connection.
You're right, the streaming on it.
The 4K is apparently not very good quality. I want to play Red Dead Redemption 2. That's one of the, I think, 15 games that's available. $60. But
Mr. Howell did a really good job with his demo on Hands on Tech.
Yeah, watch that. That hot episode's good.
Mm-hmm.
The Verge spoke to Bungie, the developers of Destiny 2. That's the free game. And Bungie said, Stadia's version is not the same 4K version as on other platforms. It renders at 1080p and then is upscaled.
Yep.
That ain't 4K.
Not at all.
Red Dead Redemption. Eurogamer confirmed the game only renders at 1440p and then is upscaled.
I just love that we live in a world where we can bitch and moan about, oh my God, it's not streaming 4K.
But the thing is, Carson.
But I'm paying for 4K.
They're paying. You're going to pay for that, and
you have it there.
For the free tier.
The free tier is coming.
When's the free tier coming? Next year, free tier. So here we go. This is Anthony's MacBook. Okay, and what game are we playing, Anthony? Destiny 2, the freebie. Here, I'm gonna have to prop it up here.
I can hold it there.
Hold that with you.
I got you.
Use those muscles for something besides moving iron around.
Well, it's loading right now.
It's still loading.
Loading. Loading. That's normal. It loads that slow on Xbox too. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
That looks good there.
That looks like 4K. Watch me get greased in minutes. I'm sorry to do this to your account, Anthony.
It's fine.
Ah! Oh, now I'm in the water.
That doesn't look bad.
Actually, it looks pretty good.
That looks better than what Mr. Howell was showing.
Upscaling. And now I should mention, should I shoot this?
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Trigger.
Oh, triggers. I forgot. This is an Xbox. I mean, PlayStation. Type. Yeah. So this is what was I going to say? I forgot. I'm busy. Don't bother me. Somebody's shooting at me.
See, now you like it.
But see, before Mr. Carson tried to give us a little bit of grief,
I'm sorry.
Who is Google marketing Stadia to?
This game.
What's the target audience for Google marketing Stadia? Is it the real gamer? Is it the casual gamer? Is it the people that play Candy Crush?
Well,
or what?
that's the weird thing.
This is no Candy Crush.
It's definitely not for the Candy Crush people.
Right.
And it's definitely not for the real gamers because they're going to shell out for a PC.
Right. So now you take that middle tier and tell them they're going to have to pay X amount of dollars per month, plus pay another, say, $60 for a really good looking game. Why would they do this and have this same lackluster performance when they could just go and get
Should I pick this
use
up?
PS4 or Xbox or what have you? Google failed on that.
Start adventure. All right, I'm starting the adventure.
I kind of agree with you actually because. I mean, technically,
Actually, this looks great.
I should be
and I don't
market
feel
for
like there's
this.
much latency. Did you feel, Anthony, there was a lot of latency?
I mean, I could feel it.
Latency would be the issue. I know what I was going to say. We are on a 10 gigabit symmetric
Yeah, here.
internet connection.
And most people know.
Yeah, this is an unusually good connection. I don't know. What's that? He's got a shield. That's
this looks good just from here, but it's not going to happen at home.
I don't know. Have they solved the latency issues, do you think? That's the real question. And can Google's magic fix the latency problems?
It's back and depends solely on your, there's too many variables to...
Yeah, you can't tell what the jitter and latency is going to be. All right, so I'm now regretting canceling it. But here, you can take it
No,
back.
it's okay.
That was pretty fun.
You'll be fine with that.
And I've played Destiny on Xbox. It's very comparable,
But,
right?
I mean, there's
But there's no achievements.
there's no games that get
There's
exciting.
no. I can't play with anybody else, or can I? Supposedly you can.
Stadia, not
Only Stadia.
right now.
Oh, and have you muted Jeff?
I'm sorry. I did mute Jeff.
Oh,
Yeah, you're sorry. You're sorry, Mike.
Jeff's been quiet for like 10 minutes. I thought.
I'm sorry.
Is there a social angle to all this?
Sort of. Only against other Stadia people.
Only within Stadia.
They showed in their keynote saying you could send out a link and stuff like that. You could jump in.
The thing that I thought was kind of interesting is you can be watching some of your, somebody you like's YouTube stream, and then click the link and join them in game. That's not out yet, right?
It feels like a beta.
Yeah. This is a very typical Google rollout. It's beta.
Yeah.
I agree. I
Have
think the
everybody
smart thing
testing
would
it for
Carson's
them.
right. Make it an invitation only, and everybody. Then we'd all be saying, "How do I get in?"
Let me in.
having everybody test it and pay a premium price for it? That's not
That's
cool.
what Jimmy Wales is doing.
True.
Yeah, and he lost me right at the
The
front.
question is, when the next gen comes, when you're looking
Stand next to the microphone there so we can hear you.
That's not the microphone.
I don't know where the microphone is.
Just come over here.
Sure. When you're looking at buying the next gen, like PS5, that's another $500.
That's the real decision.
yeah. I could just buy a game and play the free tier, right?
Right.
So it's not right now. It's
So
not,
free is next year. What will you lose if you're not paying $10 a month?
no 4K.
No 4K. Okay.
Which you're not getting anyway.
You're not getting anything.
Which is probably you're better off, honestly.
It would be.
Oh, there's a mic.
And the other reason that people, I think the whole idea for this was that you, Jeff, could play it on a Chromebook. Not that you want to, but you could. And that we could play it on our Pixel. You have to have a Pixel phone to do it, but if you have a Pixel phone, clip and cable not included, you need some additional hardware. But that's the premise of this, right? Is that low-end hardware could play high-end games.
But that's not high-end.
Well, that looked, what I was just doing, for those of you who couldn't see it on Destiny 2, looked pretty good. I would say the game experience was decent. As good as I would want it to be.
But it's
44 titles confirmed. Cyberpunk 2077, which is going to be a very hot title. That will be available. Baldur's Gate 3. 4K with HDR.
Mortal Kombat.
We already have Mortal Kombat 11. I'm sorry, I don't need that. Controller's $70.
xCloud already has.
Can I just say what the real problem is? The elephant in the room. Google kills stuff randomly
all the time.
I don't think any gamer wants to invest, because you are investing in a platform. I don't think they want to invest in a platform that could go away in months.
True. Real gamers, like Mr. Carson was discussing, they'll go out and spend a couple $1,000s on a rig, just to play the games that they enjoy.
Let me take a break. I want to talk about Nightingale and the Google Healthcare Project because I'm really curious what Jeff and Matthew have to say about that one. I was gone when this broke, and I don't know. Did we talk about it last week?
We did.
We did? Okay, so that's a terrible tease then.
None of us was here last week except Ant.
Right.
No, Mr.
No, I was.
Mr. Ingram was here too.
Yeah.
Oh, you were? Oh.
Well, I'll tell you,
okay.
we'll also talk about, I know this is news, the Supreme Court agreeing to take up Google's appeal versus Oracle. Not that
a case that will never die. But
a case that was very poorly decided. And I think what we have to investigate is what is the Supreme Court going to take up? Because this is not the first time the Supreme Court's ruled on this case. But first, a word from the best browser ever, Brave. Now you might say, no, Chrome's the best browser ever. Most people use Chrome. Well, Brave is Chrome. It's taking the Chrome code base, which is open source, taking out the bad stuff, leaving in the good stuff, and adding some really good stuff on top of it. It's a next-generation web browser built by a team that, unlike Google, is focused on privacy. And as a result of securing the browser, you also get amazing speed, much better performance. With privacy by default, Brave gives you control over who has access to what you're doing online. And that gives you super fast performance, up to 6 times faster than the competitors, which also means on a laptop, less battery life. It'll reduce data costs. I like Brave because it looks like Chrome. It supports Chrome extensions, all the Chrome extensions. You can use the Chrome Web Store. But I don't have to worry about things like ad blocking, tracker blocking. In fact, I would say it does a better job of tracker blocking than any other browser, including Firefox. Brave is impressive. It really, and I've talked to Bcrypt. In fact, we did a triangulation with her. She's one of the people who does the security side of Brave. I know the people on the Brave team, like Bcrypt, really are committed to making you have a great browser, no sacrifices, but it doesn't have creepy ads, it doesn't have trackers. Now, one of the things I think is really cool, we've talked a lot about this, ad blocking, and doesn't that just take revenue out of the pockets of ad-supported websites? Yes. But Brave gives it back. Brave rewards you by having advertisers pay you for your attention. You can opt into Brave ads, which are very nice, very simple, and do not track you. And you'll get rewarded with BAT tokens, basic attention tokens. Actually, if you want, you can even buy BAT tokens. And then Brave will award content creators with BAT tokens. So you can access premium content. You can reward your favorite content creators. It fixes this issue of how do you do ad blocking and still give publishers their fair share of web revenue. I love this. This is really innovative thinking, and I think they've done a great job. Fix the internet. That was their mission. Brendan Eich, who created JavaScript and was co-founder of Firefox, created Brave with Brian Bondi. You get private windows with Tor built in. So, yes, it's a Tor browser as well if you want additional anonymity on the net. HTTPS everywhere. I love that. I turn that on. It's all configurable, though. If you go to the Brave, do me a favor, download Brave anyway. Brave.com/twit. I know you have a couple of browsers on your system, so add one more, brave.com/twit. Then go into the preferences. That's where you'll really see Brave in action. You'll see all the features. You could see that you could turn them all on and off. You don't have to use BAT if you don't want to. You don't have to see Brave ads if you don't want to. You can. You can configure everything. You don't even have to use Google as a search engine. I use Start Page as my search engine. I just really love Brave. I feel like I'm getting the Chrome experience without the Chrome cruft. In fact, Brave's slogan is great. Yesterday was about big tech. Today is about us. Brave.com/twit. It's the only browser I use. I love it. Actually, I've been using it for, I think I switched off of Chrome to Brave about 6 months ago. It really makes the switch easy because it is Chrome. And Brave Sync, oh, I love it. Because I use Brave on Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and Linux, and it's available on all of them. And with Brave Sync, you get strong, secure sync between all of the same. So it even will open the same page I was just looking at on my Android device when I get to my desktop. I love it. Brave.com/twit. Please use that address. That way they know you saw it here. Okay, so is there anything to say about Project Nightingale? First question, I wasn't clear. I also read the story about the NIH giving 100,000 X-rays to Google and Google about to publish them. That's a separate thing?
That's separate, I think.
So these both surfaced at the same time.
I think that.
Go ahead, Matthew.
The thing to remember about Nightingale is that all this, as far as I can tell, all the stuff that Google was doing with this data partner is totally legal. Like, it's completely allowed.
But that's a loop. Okay, but I want to say that's a loophole in HIPAA.
It was
HIPAA.
Right.
It's a
HIPAA
loophole
compliant.
that, if you look at it, was clearly written for insurers.
Right.
So that insurers could snoop on you and reduce their liability. And, the insurance industry went in there and said, it'd be nice if you'd put that in the HIPAA law. And they did. And so, it's legal, but it's a loophole, and Google's taking
So there are
advantage of it.
also, the one piece I read, I'm trying to remember where it was, but they said these types of data sharing arrangements are commonplace with lots of different companies.
Yeah.
And so it's just the fact that it's Google, I think, that got a lot of attention.
Yeah, that's what we said last week. There's a lot of other people doing the same type of pull and push for
that
data.
Doesn't make it okay. We should stop them too.
Well,
it doesn't make it awful either. It depends on what happens with it.
Right, but that's what I was saying. If Google is taking this information and is going to use it to help, whether it's speed up and make more efficient with diagnosis and
maybe that's
things
good.
like that, that's a good thing. If they're going to help us with, finding not necessarily a cure, but something to help with preventative medicine, let them have at it. They have the horsepower with all of their computing to give us these answers possibly. So let them play around with it. But
Google wanted to provide back-end
back-end
tools for Ascension Health, which is a big nonprofit provider, thousands of facilities, 23 states. And the idea is medical, electronic medical records. Everybody wants to move to that. That's completely reasonable.
Again, it's
the question is, what is Google going to do with that information?
We're going about this the wrong way, right? We should deal directly with the fears we have about people knowing our health data, right? So you can't cut me off insurance, you can't fire me, you can't do other things. That should be legislated. And then once we feel secure in that, then there is clear benefit from sharing health data.
So as soon as they legislate that, then Google, you go right ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we need to legislate that, and there's a non-discriminatory view on employment and on insurance and on renting new apartments and things like that. We should not discriminate on the basis of race, sex, gender, or illness.
But we do.
We do.
But we
and
do.
The reason,
that's the problem. That's the problem with society. Is that.
And the reason there's that loophole in HIPAA, in my opinion, is so that insurance companies could ultimately decline coverage to people with existing conditions and all, that information.
What do we want to get there?
The insurance companies tell you that straight up, though.
Right.
They tell you that before you even sign up.
They do, yeah. Yeah, they do.
We reserve the right to deny.
I think we need to know more. I think it would be better if we knew more about these kind of data sharing arrangements, not necessarily outlaw them, but at least know that this stuff is happening.
I agree.
I think the problem started.
And know who's got our data and from where.
I think the problem started when it came off as if Google was trying to keep this information away from the public. Had they just said straight up, folks, we're trying to find a better way to help you all out. So we are working with these folks to help get the data, and we're going to go through it. We're going to keep it private. We're going to lock it down, but we just want you to know we have some of your personal information for a big picture.
I saw so many headlines that said Google is trying to secretly get health data.
Right.
And that's instantly.
And no matter what they do, they're going to get smashed. That's the problem. Is that if you're comms at Google, you are trying. I mean, the other story that drove me bat poop this last week was the Wall Street Journal of Google changes its algorithm and let's do 5,600 inches of text about how
that was a terrible
changes
story.
its algorithm.
That was a terrible story.
So
it was awful. And there's I won't say his name because I don't want to give him the credit, but there's a trade association guy in publishing industry who spends his entire life now smashing Facebook and Google. So when I criticize, who it is. I criticize the story. He got all after me. You're a lot of renowned Google critics I know said, "What a ridiculous story."
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous because
Search Engine Land. I thought Greg Sterling and Barry Schwartz did a really good job of going through all point by point.
So anybody who listens to this show
I didn't see that.
can immediately understand the problem. This is the headline from the Wall Street Journal: how Google interferes with its search. I can't even say it with a straight face. Interferes with its search algorithms and, shocking, changes your results. It uses blacklists, algorithm tweaks, and an army of contractors to shape what you see. Well, hell yeah.
That's what it's
the
supposed
same
to
company,
do.
the Murdoch Wall Street Journal, was scathing about Google, not doing that. So
they wanted them to change their results.
So this is a hit piece and you can expect this from newspapers because
and also from that particular newspaper with that particular owner.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how if you took all the adjectives out, it's actually just a straightforward description of how search works.
Right.
Yes.
That's exactly what it's supposed to do.
Oh my God, look how search works. Google made algorithmic changes to its search results that favor big businesses over smaller ones, and at least in one case made changes on behalf of a major advertiser. Yeah, but what were the changes that made? What did it say? Oh, eBay should be higher up? No, the changes were, let's make sure that the results people want show up at top.
First.
Yeah.
Google engineers regularly make behind-the-scenes adjustments to other information the company is increasingly layering on top of its basic search results. The knowledge panels, the featured snippets. Again, if you've used Google, and this is one of the reasons people use Google, is because you get all that addition. You get the Wikipedia article on the right.
I mean, I think there is a question, there is a sort of debate to be had about Google doing things like, privileging its own properties, and we could talk about that, but that's not.
Well, Stadia is doing that in Europe with antitrust.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't the Wall Street Journal go after the likes of YouTube? Because YouTube pretty much does the same thing with this algorithm as far as trying to show what exactly this particular profile has a history of looking at and clicking like on and watching the full duration.
I don't want to be a Google apologist, and I'm sure that's how it sounds to some people. So honestly, is this article revealing, and by the way, they said they interviewed 100 people. Is this article revealing anything that we didn't know?
No.
Okay.
Not really, no.
I kept looking for it.
It's just casting things that we knew in an unfavorable
That's
light.
what it's doing.
And we're in a different perspective too. We're in the tech bubble, if you will. So we're going to see this bull crap as it's printed out there. But
a lot of people will read this and go, "Oh, did you know?"
Right. Everybody's going to freak out.
Especially this aligns with the conservatives who said all along Google is deprecating conservative search results. Yeah. And while it never says that here,
objectivity, neutrality.
I guarantee there will be a bill before Congress that will use the term search neutrality.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, I think there already are efforts. Yes.
So there's two other things Google's doing to gather more data. A lot of this is slanted by your view of Google, right? So Google bought Fitbit. A lot of Fitbit people are throwing their Fitbits in the trash.
Yeah.
They say, I don't want Google to know how many steps I took.
They already know, dude.
But even
they already know.
Yeah, if you carry an Android phone, they know.
Your Android phone knows, yeah.
I do think though, because I've heard that I had this discussion with a friend of mine who has a Fitbit. And it's just sort of a free-floating fear or
moral panic, Mathew. Moral
about
panic.
Just their data getting loose somehow, or big companies knowing about it, and there's nothing tangible. Like you can't really pin it down. It's just this kind of, fear.
Yeah.
Well, you're right, Mathew, and it's the problem with the online harms report in the UK, where they're saying the things that are harmful, that could, I don't know, we're not going to say what it is, but if it possibly could be harmful, we're going to go. And we didn't talk about this in the show. I talked about the book a few weeks ago. So I put up a long post saying that harmful speech is the new porn. Because I got an amazing book from 1970 that went into the Presidential Commission on Pornography at the time. And the parallels are amazing. It was like, oh, porn is gonna ruin our youth. Well, we're still here, us old guys. We're okay. We're okay. It didn't hurt us.
We're all right.
Most of us.
Sometimes I feel like, Jeff, though, you lean towards everything's fine and maybe ignore potential harms.
No, if you can define the harm, fine.
Right.
That's my problem. That's what Mathew was just saying.
Well, I could define plenty of harms with porn.
And the UK harms report is not good at that. They just say some things are harmful and you should stop them.
You want to be specific because on the other side of it, there's harms to stopping data aggregation because there are benefits to it. So what you want to do is, as best you can, weigh real legitimate harms with real legitimate values and see which, what the trade-off is.
But we so rarely see that now.
Well, I have to say there is some culpability on the part of Google because, for instance, Google didn't tell people they were doing this deal with Ascension. There's no patient acknowledgement.
They did actually.
Yeah, with the dog.
No, they told people. You're right. In fact, they told them on an investor call, but they didn't give the patients a chance to opt out. Right. In other words, I think there's some disconnect. I think there's some culpability on both sides.
That's a comms issue.
It is a comms issue. It's also, but it's not merely a comms issue. It's also a settings issue. It's also a default issue. Google needs to more and more do what Apple does, which is we got to get permission before you do anything.
Well, but let's not get too whooshy about virtuous Apple. Apple made a business failure into a feature.
The fact that
Apple failed in advertising.
Yeah, it didn't launch. Yeah.
And so it didn't really need the data, and so now it's making that into a feature. But Apple's no.
It's a real feature. For whatever
accidental.
So maybe their motives weren't pure as the driven snow, but now that they can't make money in advertising, they're not going to be collecting the information.
I think more, if I could put my finger on sort of the fear, I think more and more people are concerned that or afraid that all of these things that Google and Facebook and other companies say they're doing for us, that most of the benefit is going to go to them. So that maybe, the fear is they're going to maybe do like this much for you and then this much for them.
Well, here's what Google said.
Most of the data will help them.
Our work with Ascension is exactly that, a business arrangement to help a provider, Ascension, with the latest technology, similar to the same thing we do with dozens of other healthcare providers. These organizations, like Ascension, use Google to securely manage their patient data under strict privacy and security standards. They are the stewards of the data. We provide services on their behalf. And I have to say, when they say it that way, it sounds to me like this was a tempest in a teapot, that there is no problem.
Yeah.
It's like they want to do the same thing for the CIA.
But another way to put it is that how much of your data is on AWS?
Right. Or all of these.
Yeah, tons of it, because it's in all kinds of places. And we figure Amazon's not pulling it together, but
it's in the cloud.
It's in the cloud.
It's in the cloud.
Oh,
it's in the
nice
cloud.
Fluffy cloud.
Yeah. Fluffy cloud.
I don't knock people for saying, hey, I don't want them to know my data because they're going to capitalize off of it and make a gazillion dollars off of it, and they're not going to make anything. I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with people just being flat out fearful and not knowing why.
Well, and I think our larger complaint is I think we all agree everybody should have the right to choose, yes or no.
Yes.
The larger complaint is if Congress, the FCC, Rupert Murdoch, whoever weighs in and shuts stuff down that would give us absolute societal benefit on the basis of these imaginary or hard to define harms, then the harm really is that we lost the benefits of these technological innovations. And so
I think Jeff had a point that if you trace the fear, it is that Google or Facebook is going to take the data and give it to somebody, and then that somebody is going to penalize you in some way, or your insurance is going to get cut off, or your bank's going to shut down your account or something.
Right.
Which is a matter of so in my regulation group I was in, I got everybody yelling at me when I said that the issue here really isn't regulation of technology companies at all. It's regulating the human behavior that the technology companies enable that we don't like. And yes, technology companies do things too, and they have used their power. But a lot of what people complain about is that there's things we don't approve of that we want the technology companies to get rid of.
Right.
Or there's things that other companies do that we want them to, because they seem all powerful now. And I think that's part of the problem is we give them too much credit.
Yeah.
I think also the problem is that we give the notion that we are reasonable too much credit, that we really all act via emotion. And really what's happened here is that the tides have turned on Google, which we used to think was the greatest thing ever, and now everybody doesn't trust it and like it. And so that's all.
Just as ridiculous as being overboard in love with it. It's a company.
It's a company.
It's a company.
So it's really emotion. It's really how you feel about Google that really colors this, period.
It doesn't help when these companies start offering facial recognition to the military for their drone strikes, or when they start offering, backdoors to China or whatever. That stuff doesn't help.
Well, okay, I'm going to recast that. Let me recast that. This is America. Well, you're in Canada, but this is America.
Same difference.
If this were World War II and Ford said, let's build tanks, we'd get, yes, you're patriotic. This is something, again, this is emotional.
Yeah.
It is a long history of American companies building products for our defense or our offense. It's a long history of that. There's nothing wrong with that. Jeff Bezos said, if the military wants...
But tanks didn't roll into your neighborhood. Tanks didn't follow you to the 7-Eleven.
These days they are.
Well, then your problem is not with Amazon, or your problem is with the U.S. military using drone strikes. That's a different problem. Now,
no, it's technologies like facial recognition that can be used in different, like tanks. You use a tank in one way. Facial recognition, if that technology
but I got to trust. I'm going to trust our great, wonderful military that is good. They're going to use this in a sensible, appropriate way to defend this great nation of ours. And what the hell is wrong with Google helping them out, or Amazon?
The problem is the leader. The problem is the leader of the military.
Well, there's
trust in that.
So not just military, but also immigration and naturalization. So I came through. I have global entry, which is the machine. You put the passport in, you answer a few questions, and then you go. Right? They changed it.
Facial recognition.
Now you come in. It is facial recognition only.
Yeah.
Take a picture of me. It says you are Jeffrey Jarvis.
But you gave them that face when you signed up for global entry.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know it was facial recognition.
Well, so okay.
And I
it
agree.
was fingerprint, or it
I
was
agree.
iris. I mean,
but it's pretty amazing now. So if you want to freak people out about how good facial recognition is, have them go through the global entry line.
Right.
Yeah.
But you signed up for it.
I'm not complaining.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying it's going to freak people out.
I have a slightly off subject question. If we look at regulation and the people in our leadership that are wanting to put this type of regulation on Google or whatever tech company that they have an issue with, should these people be people that are well versed in the sciences, like computer sciences, or have degrees in that, or is it okay that they just have people under them that understand this technology?
I want idiots to run the world, Ann. I want ignorant idiots to run the world.
But you can't demand that everybody in Congress has a degree in computer science.
No, but they have staff and they can get things right.
Right. I saw someone, I guess it was on Twitter, someone had put that out there. It's like, I need our leadership to be people that are competent in computer sciences and engineering and yada, yada, yada.
Well, that's why we used to have the office, what was it called? The Office of...
Technology.
Yeah, Newt Gingrich killed it in the 80s. And actually, at least some of the candidates for president have asked or encouraged, I know Elizabeth Warren has, the return of that Office of Technology, whatever it was.
I'd just like them to be human beings. Like, I'd like them to be, functioning, sort of thinking, emotional human beings. I don't require them to have specific degrees.
Well, I think he or she, whoever that posted it, I think they were thinking more along the lines of, we don't want the speaker to be at the mic saying or asking Zuckerberg why his iPhone wasn't working. That type of thing.
I mean, that is awkward.
But it's always been staffers who have been the smart people. The member of Congress is there just to raise funds and get votes. The staff is what does all the work.
Those hearings are all about getting on TV, and making like grandstanding. You hold up your cardboard cutout or whatever and talk about your, it's
by the way, it was the Office of Technology Assessment, 1972 to 1995.
Okay.
Right.
It was designed to provide Congress, its members and committees with objective and authoritative analysis of the complex scientific and technical issues of the late 20th century. The fact that it was disbanded is unbelievable.
We need that more and more
just
now.
As the consumer web, just as Netscape went public, got dismantled.
It's really sad.
I fear, though, if it comes back, it's going to come back as in every possible technology that's bad for you.
Right.
We're in the finger-wagging age.
It was killed because Newt Gingrich decided it was hostile to GOP interests.
Oh, jeez.
What are those?
There you go.
Well, this climate talk, I don't know. One more thing you can get mad about. Google wants to start a checking account for you. Next year, Google wants to be your new bank.
I'm actually pretty fine with that.
Yeah.
We talked about that last week.
Oh, you did? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm bringing
don't-
back all the old stuff.
I don't trust them any less than I trust my bank. So
Right.
it's not really
That's
a problem.
true. That's a good point.
True.
Yeah, that's what he said. Is like, who do you trust the least?
I got
You know?
yesterday in the mail, I got a box of candy from a company called
Nice.
Pure Point Financial. It said, "Happy birthday, Leo."
Oh boy.
Who the hell are these guys? And
Was it your birthday?
it's my birthday's coming up. I thought,
Oh.
that's
Oh, boy.
a little weird. Fortunately, it turns out, Lisa said, "Oh, no, we have an account with them." I said, "Oh, I didn't know that." Okay.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, you thought someone was scraping.
Well, this is one way to get me to set up a checking account. Happy birthday to me. I can't eat the candy. If they'd known me better, they would know I couldn't. They'd send me some meat.
There you go.
Obviously, they don't know me well enough.
Here's
What
a
did you
box
do
of
with
meat,
the
customer.
candy?
Box
What
of
did you do
meat.
with the candy?
I think we're going to re-gift it as stocking stuffers.
I could give you my address.
It's pretty funny, though. It was
And,
nicely packaged.
PowerPoint or whoever, if they want to send some boxes of candy,
Pure Point
I'll leave my
Financial.
address.
They'll find you, Mr.
The
Ingram.
reason it turns
Like,
out
was it good candy or
Lisa created a it was pretty good candy. Well, I didn't eat it, but Lisa set up a savings account with them because they have like really high. They have the highest savings rates, like 0.18 or something, 1.8, something like that. Anyway, yeah, 1.8.
Wait, Leo. By the way,
Yeah.
how hard was it for you to stay on your diet on vacation?
Oh, I didn't.
No, that was non-existent.
Would have been impossible. People in Greece would have been slapping you around. How dare you?
So, for those who don't know, I don't eat carbs. I'm on a keto diet, and yeah, I mean, I had a little pita bread. I had some hummus.
I heard there was some nice pastries.
I did not
partake.
know. You know what? I was pretty good. I didn't do desserts for the most
Man,
part. I
you
didn't
can't
do
go to the Middle East
pastries.
and not have pastries.
But I did, you know, the ship, they had fresh baked rolls every day. I thought, oh, I'll have one of those.
Okay. So how did it feel having some?
Actually,
nice
the
carbs?
worst thing was our cabin was mere feet away from a very good pizzeria on the boat, Spacca Napoli. And the guy, he was Italian. I'd say, buongiorno. He'd say, buongiorno, have a pizza.
Yes.
I couldn't really say no. Oh, Lord.
I'm going to try that at the pizza joints around here. Just walk in and say, buongiorno.
No, give me a... Well, that's the nice thing about a cruise. You already paid for everything.
Oh, okay.
Through the nose.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like it's free. Sort of. Sort of like it's free. They're not going to do a TJIF meeting. This is a sign of a company becoming big. They're cutting back on the all-hands meetings just once a month.
Okay,
Who cares?
wait.
Who cares?
I have never worked for a company that had all hands meetings.
Every
Every week?
Friday.
Yeah,
That's a
everybody says,
silly-
Google's not transparent. The Exxon is not having
No. We
every
don't even.
Friday transparency meeting.
Actually, we do. But we don't have...
You
it's
do?
not like a... Yeah, but it's a very Silicon Valley thing. We have a Wednesday all-hands meeting.
Wednesday lunch.
Yeah, but we're
Well, we have
smaller
lunch
too.
Or Tuesday all-hands.
But we're smaller too.
Yeah, we can get all hands in one room.
Right.
Yeah.
I've worked for a company
Well,
where we
they're-
have all hands meetings, but it wasn't every week. It was more like twice a year. At the most, I've seen once a quarter.
So
But
I
they're
think
upset about leaks, right?
I
Isn't that
think that's
whole
the
point?
I think that's the slant on this is you know, there was a lot of dissent at these meetings. People would
Right.
ask tough questions, and then people would leak the
Public
things
forum.
people said. I don't, you know.
I just find it interesting that Facebook, which is known for being incredibly secretive and closed-mouthed, when they had leaks from an audio leaks from a meeting,
Yeah.
then Zuckerberg said, "Okay, we'll have public meetings then." And Google, who has typically been pretty transparent, they had leaks, and so now they're just not having meetings.
Well, or maybe they're just not having meetings because it's not practical. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's when you were all in Mountain View and you could stand on a staircase, yeah, pretty cool. But
so Karsten's son is worried that the FTC is going to fine him $42,000.
Yeah, I want to hear more about this.
He's completely freaked out. Like,
so how old is he? He's 16?
He's 15.
15.
He's had a YouTube channel for about a year, and all of his content is kind of video game related.
So it's aimed at kids his age.
Yeah, but it's not like aimed at kids.
The thing is, Zach is not gathering information about the people who watch his channel. YouTube is. But YouTube is telling its creators, it's your problem. You have to declare that you are kid. There were two ways. You could be kid attractive, or you could be kid targeted. Mm-hmm. And if you don't declare it right, you're the one the FTC is going to fine. They're not going to fine us. But who's gathering the information? YouTube. Zach doesn't know anything about his audience.
Not yet.
So this comes from COPPA, the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act.
Yeah, the FTC had a press conference in September, and
I don't get
basically
what kid
about their
means.
fine on Google.
So if none of our programs are aimed at kids,
right?
But maybe
But
some of our. But what if we did unboxing videos of toys?
Yeah,
that would be considered kid attractive. In either case, you have to declare that. It has to do with your monetization.
Right.
If you're kid directed, you can't monetize. You can't have ads. But again, it's not because you're getting any information, because Google keeps that all close to the vest.
It's almost just like saying that you're not kid attractive, you'll be safer.
But then if you are and you say you're not, that's when you get the $42,000 fine. YouTube.
That's what he's worried about.
Yeah, under terms of the settlement with the FTC, YouTube made a settlement. YouTube is required to, quote, develop, implement, and maintain a system for channel owners, Zach, to designate whether their content on the YouTube service is directed to children. Creators who strictly make children's content can have their entire channel designated as directed at children. But even if you only make one video, your channel may be designated that. And then once a video is labeled as kids content, all the personalized ads are shut off. And they're replaced with, quote, contextualized advertising. In other words, advertising that's designed for people who might watch that kind of content, like our ads. Our ads are contextualized.
Right.
We don't gather information about our audience.
I think you're right, Leo. I think it's unfair to put all this on the creators. Like it says in their video, YouTube explicitly declined to tell channel owners when to label a video. We can't provide legal advice, it said. We're unable to confirm whether your content is
like the Harms report.
That's
the government's
up to
not
you.
being
And if you don't label it right, good luck.
Yep.
Thanks.
Your ass is grass.
You too.
Outstanding.
So I think we're not kid directed. I don't think we're
kid attractive.
It could be kid attractive.
Okay,
we're talking about candy. You were just talking about candy.
What's this?
Hey kids,
This is,
what's some candy from nice old Leo?
FTC's COPPA survey. Subject matter, if you have...
Subject matter is appealing to children. For example, kids' jokes. Well, most of mine are childish. Music, kids' games, video computer games. Oh, I like how they talk video.
You can't appeal either.
Yeah.
You can't appeal YouTube.
No. Children's TV shows or stars, cartoon characters, sports.
We don't like sports.
Sports.
Hey, watch it.
Stories, toys, children's books, fantasy. Well, most of the show is children's arts and crafts, pets. You mean if I had a pet channel, they would call that?
Oh, crap. We showed those cats.
Products primarily
Those cats were
purchased or
doomed.
consumed by kids, like snack food. No, I'm sorry. Everybody buys snack food.
They think that only kids buy
So
snack
candy
food.
is not in there.
And we can't use slang or pop culture phrases like fun.
Whatever, free stuff, fun. Duh. Ask your parents.
Yeah. And no bold or bright, vibrant colors.
However, I'm going to fix you right here. I'm going to throw in a phrase like nihilistic epistemology.
There you go.
Okay.
No kid would want that.
No, we're good.
We're safe.
I don't even
We're
know
safe.
that.
Okay.
That's the show title.
All right, let's take a break and get your picks of the week. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody. Mathew,
how was it being
Ingram.
back, Leo?
Back in the saddle.
Actually, I had a long conversation this morning with Paul and Mary Jo. I realized that the only reason I like to travel is because this is actually a flaw in the human brain. Your normal daily life becomes humdrum. Mm-hmm. It's the same. It's routinized.
Monotonous.
And your brain is trained, once something is routine, to ignore it because you're supposed to be looking for the jaguar that's about to eat your brains. So you're looking for novelty. We're trained for novelty. And I realize there's no novelty in my life. There's very little novelty. I do much the same thing every week.
Right.
And in fact, that's why I am feeding dopamine to my brain by buying stuff, or trying to do new things. But when you travel, it's all new. It's all different. It's very exciting, very stimulating. And so the temptation is to look at daily life as being undesirable and boring, and I just want to be on the road all the time. But then I realized I really don't want to be on the road all the time.
No, I take it from somebody who does 200,000 miles a year.
And I like to be with you guys, and I love the conversations. I miss the brain food because I was kind of turning into a vegetable. I want more pizza. Give me pizza.
You just needed some carbs and you're fine.
Can I have some more pizza?
Buongiorno.
When does the buffet open?
Oh, that's the funniest thing that happens on a cruise. It's like people haven't been fed. They have a midnight chocolate buffet, and people storm it like they didn't eat anything 3 hours ago. We eat constantly. Oh,
you're on a boat.
You're on a boat. What else are you going to do? All right. Get a massage, get in the hot tub,
yes,
have a dinner,
casino,
second dinner, casino, gamble some. Anyway, I am thrilled to be back, and I missed you guys, and it's
good. We missed you.
My job, I realize in life,
that the crew didn't do a great job.
Oh no,
but
you know what? This is the first time we've been on vacation. We went on a long one, 25 days, where we felt like everything was in great shape, even though there were fires and there was all sorts of issues, because we knew we had Aunt Pruitt, Micah Sargent, Jason Howell in the front. We had the great people in the back like John and
thank goodness
Karsten,
for the engineers,
and of course our continuity department, Debbie, and all those other people. I don't know their names. They're great too.
They know who they are.
They know who they are. No, I know their names, and they're all wonderful. Ashley,
I'm going to walk out of
Sarah,
the studio, and they're going to be throwing
and
rocks at
in our
me.
accounting department, and Robin, who's our newest employee, and they just because we could count on them, Lisa and I had a much better vacation. We knew everything's in great hands.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. So thank you to everybody. I really appreciate it.
It was our pleasure.
And I miss talking with people like you and Jeff and Mathew and when Stacy comes back next week, it'll be great to see her again. Because honestly,
Miss Wigginbotham.
Yes,
she wore wigs.
You missed the wigs.
You missed the wigs and
she brought out
costumes
wigs
and everything. Man.
Well, you've seen.
Is that mine?
Is
that my coin?
Wigginbotham, I like it.
I think I got credit for that one. Yeah.
Yes, you did, Mr. Jarvis.
I feel like Stacy holds back when I'm here. She doesn't want to get my attention in any way.
There's a whole other side to Stacy.
There is apparently, but I'll never know. So I'm going to let's get our picks of the week. We're going to wrap it up. Jeff has to get out of here in just a second. It's too late.
You just want to get home. It's the end of your week. You're actually not used to being back at work.
Yeah.
You want to get back.
I want to get on a ship.
I'm probably have to have a nap or something.
I'm going to go to the Middle East. No, actually, there is a secret agenda here.
There is.
We are going to be taking our Christmas photo.
Yep.
Okay.
So stay on the live stream, folks. It's always fun to watch.
Well, let's keep the live stream going. Yeah, it's a great ritual we do every year, and we have some new people to add. And of course, we like to dress as if it were Christmas.
I wore a Christmassy color.
Wait till you see what I'm gonna wear.
An ugly sweater?
Oh, more than an ugly sweater, but it's inspired by an ugly sweater.
Is it a onesie?
Boy.
It's an ugly onesie, yes. Hey, one more commercial by a great company, brand new advertiser on the show. Metallic is a Commvault venture. This week in Google, brought to you by Metallic. Metallic brings you a powerful enterprise-grade backup and recovery technology, and it does it through a simple SaaS delivery, so it's easy for you to get Metallic up and running. It's built on Commvault's core technology, so that means you're getting fast, secure backups, and something I really like, granular restores. And data loss, it's a thing of the past with Metallic. It's unique in that it scales across multiple workloads and still mitigates the risk of data loss. It mitigates security threats, other issues like losing access to data in Office. That's the worst, right? Microsoft Office 365, Azure's down. What do we do? Or just poor backup performance. Metallic offers default storage. It's available through Azure, or you can roll your own. It has capability to do backup, recovery, and migration from on-premises to the cloud. Some of the products Metallic offers are core backup and recovery. You could protect physical and virtual servers on premises and in the cloud with comprehensive backup and recovery for VMware, file servers on Windows, file servers on Linux, Microsoft SQL databases. That's Metallic core backup and recovery. If you're an Office 365 house, you'll love Metallic Office 365 backup and recovery. Protects everything, your mailboxes, your contacts, your calendar items, whether they're in SharePoint Online, Exchange Online, on OneDrive, unlimited Azure storage, unlimited retention. And I know in a lot of businesses, that's a legal requirement. So that's a nice thing to have. No data ever will be lost. Metallic endpoint backup and recovery lets you back up desktop and laptop data to protect against deletion, corruption, or the biggest bane these days in business, ransomware and other malicious attacks. All your data is secured with encryption, geolocation. You have remote wipe functionality as well. With Metallic, you'll be up and running in as little as 15 minutes, and you'll get simpler data protection operations with less downtime, seamless scaling, no big upfront investment. You got to do it. Safeguard your data now with Metallic. They'll give you consistency, flexibility, and scalability in a cloud platform. Everything the cloud promises, Metallic delivers. Whether you're protecting a terabyte or 1,000 terabytes, safeguard your data now and later with all the benefits of SaaS with Metallic, a Commvault venture. To sign up for your free 5-day trial, go to metallic.io, METALLIC, metallic.io/twig. Right now through December 31st, 2019, with a 1-year commitment, you get 3 months free. So don't wait. Go to metallic.io/twig. And we thank them so much for their support of This Week in Google. Did you sign up for Disney Plus, Ant?
Yeah, because it was free with my
you have a
Verizon subscription.
You know, I have Verizon too. I should probably check that out.
That was the only reason I did.
You just go online and say, turn that on?
Just go to Verizon and say,
do you have to watch it on your phone?
No, sir. You can watch it on any device.
Is The Mandalorian any good?
Haven't watched it yet.
What?
That tells you how interested I've been in Disney Plus.
I know so many people got Disney Plus and have yet to watch a single show. It's more like...
I will say this. I turned on Star Wars A New Hope because it was in Ultra HD and HDR and so forth.
Yeah.
I don't have an HDR TV, but when you look at it and see how digitally remastered it is, it's beautiful.
But that is not your thing today.
No,
your thing today is all about Clemson.
Actually, no.
It's not.
Nope, it's not. It's actually about Mr. Lawton Swann. Been a fan of the TWiT network for ever and ever and a day.
Yay.
And told me himself, Leo Laporte inspired me.
And I don't,
he started
should
Clemson.
I know who he is?
He started Clemson Sports Talk.
Oh, that's why.
Back in 2004
Nice.
with a
Look at this.
$20 headset, started a podcast.
He's like this. This is huge.
And he's now about 20,000 followers on Twitter.
Good for him.
iHeartRadio, sponsors, the whole 9 yards, sideline at the game. And he's really, really doing it up. And it's all because you inspired him.
Well, hi. It's good to see you. Lawton, what's his name? Lawton?
Lawton Swann. And
by the way, I see Clemson is now 11-0 and won the last game against Wake Forest 52-3.
Yeah, that's been most of the.
Why did they let Wake Forest get that simple field goal? You should have stopped them.
Yeah, we didn't do so hot.
11-0. Rimini.
In addition to Mr. Lawton, he wanted to send this over, and one of them is an extra large, and one of them is an extra large. So clearly. The double X is for you.
Doesn't know about my keto diet. This is for the post-cruise. Nice. National champions. That's awesome.
But he sent that while you were out, and
you know who loves
I wanted
this
to
stuff?
share that.
Dvorak loves this college ball.
And some stickers.
I'll save the XXL for you, John.
Actually, no, one is mine.
Oh, okay. I bet you. Are you XL or XXL?
I'm the 2X, clearly.
You're a little bigger than me. Thank you. Thank you, Lawton, and thank you so much, Ant. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Mathew Ingram, Columbia Journalism Review. You have anything to share with us?
Yeah, I thought this was amusing. This was in the rundown as well, I think. That it looks like they've made yet another change to the Han and Greedo shooting scene.
Speaking of Disney Plus, this is actually on Disney Plus, right?
Shot first.
Yeah. So according to this, Greedo yells something now just before he shoots. And so it's not captioned. But as far as everybody can tell, he says Maclunkey.
Oh.
What does Maclunkey mean? Anything?
So no one knows.
Okay.
No one knows.
So this is a George Lucas edit, right? This is something George said.
He's just trolling people now.
Yeah.
Like he's just flat out trolling people.
And in this edit, Greedo shot first.
Right. So I started.
Han Solo
this.
is not a bad guy. He was shooting in self-defense. Okay.
I started watching this, but I stopped before I got to this scene because I just wanted to see what it looked like. But now I'm gonna have to dive in just to hear Maclunkey.
This scene has been changed so many times.
I can see George Lucas sitting around with a bunch of guys. He's had a bunch of scotch. Someone's like, let's just have Greedo yell something incomprehensible. And then everybody goes bananas.
Is there somewhere we can hear this?
I don't know if the clip.
No. We probably
should. I not play?
We probably
it?
shouldn't.
George
should not.
George is litigious.
No,
Okay.
that's fair use. Come on. No.
No.
I think it's
journalistic.
No.
Commentary and analysis. No.
No.
Okay.
We just don't want to
tried
get
that
taken
before.
down. Yeah.
All right.
Isn't
Anyway.
that sad, this world we live in now? There's a harm. That's not imaginary.
Yeah, freedom of expression.
Okay, so the good news is, Mathew, you've given us the title for the show today. Mr. Jeff Jarvis, what's your pick of the week, sir?
Well, we got a number here. I got two things. One is Black Friday deals have arrived with a sneak peek for Google, the Google store. You can get $200 off a Pixel 4 or 4XL.
Oh my God, this is so annoying. This is so annoying.
But Mr. Laporte,
I bought this phone a few weeks ago.
I know.
We were 2 weeks after getting the announcement, and there were already discounts of a couple $100.
You can get $100 off the 3A and 3A XL. Mere $299. It's an amazing phone for that price. Phenomenal phone.
You know, get the 3A. That's actually for $299. Yes,
Yeah, it's really, really.
And
great.
really, these are what the Nexus prices used to be. This is what Google should have always done with these phones.
Agreed.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be premium priced. They should be affordably priced to get people into the ecosystem.
You could save up to $648 on a Pixel Slate because nobody wants it.
I wonder why.
So, Kevin.
So it's on sale
that's
for.
that.
Is the
But
Pixel
the other
Book,
thing that amazed me
is
is
the Pixel Book Go
Smart
on sale?
Compose.
How about the grippy bottom Pixel?
No, it's not.
Grippy
It's not.
I might have considered getting the grippy bottom.
Grippy bottoms will
There's a
never
grippy
go on
bottom.
sale.
The slate.
Could also be a show title, but
No, it was. It's already been.
Grippy bottom.
Yeah.
grippy bottom.
It already was.
It's a
So the other thing that
reprise.
used me is Smart Compose is coming from Gmail to Google
Oh, yeah.
Docs. So I
I don't
imagine
know if
that
that's a good thing. Is
yeah,
that
the
a good
future
thing?
teachers will be saying, "Did you write this paper or did Google?"
Oh boy.
I don't know.
So it's coming to Google what?
Google Docs.
Docs. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think that was in the change.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have concluded. Oh, I didn't do the change log. Well, let me look at it. Was there anything? Google announced. I'm going to do it really quickly. Play the trumpets.
The Google change.
Boy, this guy goes on vacation and see everything. goes
My
to hell.
bad.
Everything
And
falls apart.
I'm the one who said I wanted things to change.
My
Google
bad.
launches Google Earth tools that let users create and present virtual tours. Google Search will now give you feedback on your pronunciation. That's the last thing I want. Google's putting an algorithmic audio
How does it
news.
do that? No, you don't. It's Kiev, not Kiev.
It's pronounced Kiev. Everyone knows that.
Steve.
Google's putting an algorithmic audio news feed on its assistant. What is that?
I think little snippets of news from the likes of NPR and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do I invoke it? By asking for it?
Yeah, you said give me my news right
Give me
now.
my news. They're combining classic Hangouts and Hangout chat settings for G Suite admins.
Yeah.
And Google Lens is now integrated into Chrome image search.
That was the world's fastest change.
Well,
Nicely done.
to be honest,
Such
the
a
only
pro.
reason we put the changelog back in is because people were mad at us that we didn't have enough Googles in the Google This Week in Google. But this show was all about Google.
It was.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Yeah.
This was a
hardcore
non-stop Google.
With 2 minutes of Disney Plus.
Next week, though, we're going to rename the name This Week in Leitung Jigshrek.
What?
Thank you. That's going to be great for SEO.
Nihilistic epistemology.
This Week in Nihilistic Epistemology. Now, I like that. Maybe.
That sounds like a Google bomb where you try to come up with a phrase that no one has
Look
ever
what
said.
I even brought this on the airplane. 700 pages. The Enlightenment and the Book.
Oh, is Gutenberg involved?
Well, after the fact. It's the Scottish Enlightenment.
You know
Wait a minute.
Rhetorical.
Wait, there's a Scottish.
Wait a minute. There's a Scottish Enlightenment?
It's
it is Greek.
Unenlightened.
Oh,
little known
we all went down and tossed the caber, and then we were enlightened. The Scottish Enlightenment.
We were enlightened.
I think you're making stuff up now, Jarvis.
No,
Was that
I
in
got
the
800 pages.
If it's not Scottish, it's crap.
It's crap. Thank you all for joining us. We did this
For
show.
Matthew,
What? What do you got for
Harold
Matthew?
Innes's History of Communication. Ooh,
Nice.
Matthew? Very Canadian.
Harold
You know how
Innes.
to live. Yeah, Harold's great.
I
He's
do.
Marshall McLuhan's spiritual
gosh.
successor.
I'm going to visit my father next, and so it'll be boring sitting on the couch while he snoozes so I can read these books.
Perfect.
I love my father, but he likes to snooze.
Well said, Key 512. Well said.
Apparently, there's a drinking game, and whenever I say Scottish Enlightenment, you have a drink.
That's
so
right.
Congratulations.
There you go.
You've been waiting a long time for this moment. Let's all have a dram. A wee dram.
We dram.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have concluded this show. Thank God. It is something we do every Wednesday, 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern, 21:30 UTC, which I give you those times because that's the live recording, which you can watch and, in fact, stream audio or video from twit.tv/live. If you're doing that, go in the chat room because that is a great community of people, but they're all watching live, so you want to be part of that. It's irc.twit.tv. If you're not watching live, then we've got the Twit community for you, for people who want to asynchronously interact with our hosts, talk about the shows, talk amongst themselves. www.twit.community. It's a really nice forum. Forums are back, baby.
Yep.
On-demand versions of this show are available at Twit, our website, twit.tv. That's for this show, twit.tv/twig, Twig. Honestly, the best thing you could do for us and for yourself is subscribe. Find your favorite podcast application. It's Stitcher or Slacker or podcasts from Apple or Google or even YouTube. And if you subscribe, it sends them a signal you like the show, which helps us, and it also makes sure that you have the latest episode on your device the minute it's available. So subscribe for us, would you? Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time on This Week in Google. Bye-bye.